Hello, hello. So today I'm going to talk about how to believe you've got what it takes. So I work with lots of people who are talented, capable. They could be senior, they could be mid-career, and there's one consistent thing, which is that they are thinking inside, I'm not really sure I've got what it takes, or I don't quite believe I've got what it takes, or I can't articulate I've got what it takes. And this isn't because they don't have the skills, not because they're underperforming, but it's because they can't really put it into words. They can't articulate what's good about them or the impact that they have. So it's like having an incredible product, but not being able to talk about any of the features or why somebody should buy that product, hire that product, et cetera, et cetera. So what happens is that despite all this talent and, amazing stuff, they hesitate. And then that's when the self-doubt comes in, lack of self-belief. People end up playing smaller than they need to. They don't go for things. And they wait to be found out as good enough, like hoping that somebody's going to recognize that they're just this amazing thing, which they are, but they could be waiting a very long time. So, I think self-belief isn't something that you either have or don't have. I think it's something that you build, that you can build, right? Doesn't necessarily just come automatically, but you can consciously do things to build it. So when I think about it, I mean, it's not just like standing in front of the mirror and sort of giving yourself a pep talk and saying, positive manifestations. Listen, that all helps, right? But I think practically, there are three things that you can do. So the first thing is borrow that mirror, right, from somebody else. You're too close to see it really clearly. Talking about yourself is quite hard because you only have your perspective. So you need other people's perspectives. So most people are trying to work themselves out from the inside out. And I do think really spending time on yourself and understanding yourself is incredibly important. But equally important is about looking from the outside in. How do people see you? How do people see you? So it's often something that people are very hesitant to ask or find out, but it's important. What problems do people come to you to solve? What are you like to work with? What's your reputation, your invisible PR? And where do you add value or do things that have a positive effect without even thinking about it? You've probably taken those things for granted and chucked them over your shoulders. So in other words, how are you known, liked, or trusted already? Because if you've worked anywhere, there will be that opinion about you. So what is it? What is it? And just check whether that kind of matches up with what you think of yourself, because it's often very like this, right? So we're worried about this over here, whereas actually everybody else is seeing this amazing thing. It's much easier if you kind of, are more aligned. So, I think the second thing is to turn it into something you can actually say out loud. And this is probably where you do need the mirror to practice. But this is often where it kind of falls apart. People sort of know they're good. They know they're good, right? But they can't explain how. They can't explain how they are good. They feel kind of like icky about it. But the problem is if you can't articulate it, then others can't necessarily see it. And I think it's difficult to believe in it if you can't articulate it. I really think that confidence comes from really understanding what is the impact, what do I do, what is the effect I have on people. It helps if it's in black and white. So, I think get specific, whether you have a note section on your phone or something on your wall, etc. What do you do? What do you do well? What changes because of you? So what is the effect of being with you, working with you? What is different after you've been involved? So just put it all down, see it in black and white. So if it sounds vague or general or, I love complex problem solving, then it just won't land, right? So it's about, it's really about clarity. Put some meat on those bones. Like, what is it that you do? So the more vivid a description, the more you will believe it and see it. It's true. So the third thing is bringing it to life when you're with other people. So you cannot make other people do the work because they just won't do it, And this is you have to be, a salesman for yourself, salesperson for yourself, right? And this is the bit that people really resist. And I do think it is the bit that makes the biggest difference. You cannot send a CV into the void and hope that somebody pieces it together or reads through it and goes, oh yes, okay, that's the person we want. You have to do the heavy lifting. People are very busy. They're not thinking, okay, let me look through this pile of CVs, do a lot of detective work and find out the one that's got the right potential for us. No, they want you there saying, hi, I'm here. This is what I can do. This is how I can help you. So you have to do the heavy lifting, telling the story, joining the dots, making it easy to see your value. And I know this is the bit that people resist because they think it's salesy. But you do have something to sell, right? If you want to work, if you want to do what you love to do, etc., you are selling yourself. So in the nicest possible way, let's just get over ourselves. You don't have to be somebody that you're not, but you do have to show up and make it obvious. So the better you can have, clarity on, what am I selling? What am I, and how to articulate that, and then put it into a form that other people will want to hear. It's easy for them, the better. So if you're struggling with self-belief, it's often not a confidence problem. It's a clarity problem. Yeah? Clarity about what you are believing about yourself. So clarity is fixable. Clarity is fixable. So if you want to believe you've got what it takes, then first off, work out what is it that I have? And then secondly, how do I articulate it? And if you need help, I'm here. This is what I do. So I'm here for one-to-one work, group work, workshops, etc. And you can check it all out at my website, which is fasttracktofearless.com, or you can just contact me. We'll have a chat. All right. Take care, and I'll see you next week.